Hello. So it is an historic day because Britain has voted to leave the EU, which I am just not on board with personally. Really not a fan of it, but that's democracy, I guess. You know, 51.9% of people voted to leave, and the rest of us voted to stay. So I don't know. It just seems idiotic, but that's what's going to happen eventually. So they're saying it's going to take about 2 years, but yeah, I don't know. Like everything's already dropped. Like the pound has dropped from 1.4 to 1.37 in the time I was at camp today. It has dropped from 1.44-ish to 1.37 today in the sort of last month or so. So whenever I was buying my dollars before coming out here, it was I just don't get it. Like, nothing was wrong. They're going on and on about like, oh, we have to get Britain British and all that sort of stuff. Like, why? It's the 21st century, lads. Like, come on. I'm just confused, Like, I was staying up watching it last night, and you could sort of just see the Leave ones just sort of ticking over and ticking over and ticking over, and Remain wasn't really going up. Well, it was going up quite a lot, but it wasn't really catching or making ground on the Leave campaign. So I was there whenever I started looking at it, it was about 200,000 more for Leave. So I was kind of just hoping that was, the big sort of Leave places had gotten in, and then all the rest of the Remain ones would jump in. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. They won by, I think, like somewhere over 1 million votes. So I don't know. Like, Scotland has seemed to vote to stay, because most people in Scotland, I think, are pro-EU. That was one of the first things they were saying. It was, yeah, you know what, if we vote to go out in the independence referendum, one of the first things we do when we become an independent country is apply to be part of the EU, which would have been fine, would have been great, but did not happen that way. That was one of the big arguments at the time, was if you want to stay in Europe, then vote no, kind of thing. So I was sort of looking at, like, not really trusting that whole lot. Personally, I was thinking, like, this whole referendum thing I knew was going to be a thing, like, to leave Europe. So, just can't believe it. Honestly, just can't believe it. It just seemed kind of surreal. Like, I never thought it would happen. Left my postal vote before I left. So, where I'm from, voted to stay. I think it was like 64% voted to stay. I don't know. Like, I'm sure more will come out about this in the next few, days, weeks, months, leading up till the time where we actually leave. But, just from the reaction today from, stock markets and stuff, it does not seem positive. So yeah, hope it gets better. Jeremy Clarkson actually posted something really, really sensible. We can all have our griping and moaning kind of a thing today, but then tomorrow we just have to roll up our sleeves, get back to work, and try and make the best of it. End of a deal. I'll try and edit something in that shows that, because I don't really know editing yet. But yeah, great fun overall. Was so angry this morning whenever I saw it. Like, I was kind of hoping that, well, beyond all hope really, that Remain would make a comeback, but just never happened. Northern Ireland, Scotland and London pretty much were the only big concentrated areas which voted to Remain. Like, the entirety of Scotland, like in all the county majority, like, sort of things, like Inverclyde or whatever, all voted a majority of Remain. But I think it was like 2,600,000 odd people voted. Pardon me, doesn't always make a huge difference to the overall total. Can't believe it. Can't believe it, honestly. But on to happier things. Today, aside from being really, really fuming in the morning and talking to the international councillors about it, Today actually went quite well. I was quite angry in the morning, as I've said, but once sort of 8 a.m, half 8 hit, and you're actually starting to work with your kids, just have to put it behind you, because you've got a job, you're here to be paid, you're getting paid to do it, you're getting paid to watch these kids, you're getting paid to teach them, you're getting paid to make sure they have fun. So me standing there being quite depressed and angry at this vote really isn't that. I'm not out here this summer for politics, and even though it's going to affect a lot of my life whenever I get back home, the main hits probably won't be coming until a couple of years down the line, whenever all the negotiation with Europe and stuff is done. So once we're actually officially not in the EU. So got up, had the outfit on, which I will put a picture of in now, and just sort of was wearing that about. A lot of my kids were like looking at me and like coming up and like touching all the wee things dangling down, and then because I was a jellyfish, we started shocking them. So like they would come up and they would grab it and they'd hold it like, you can't shock me, you can't shock me. So like tall Christian, not boss Christian, would like come round and he would like sort of tickle them from the back, and they would just sort of break down laughing, which was pretty funny. But then it sort of got to the point where my kids and like all the other kids were getting kind of distracted by it. So I was like, right, hands up. Whatever I said, it sounded like hands up. It's my fault. The room's getting a bit hectic. They're all a bit restless because they're 9, but there's things you can do to help that, like not having big tentacle things on the go. So I went and took my hat into the office, because we kept telling them every time it wouldn't shock them. It's because it needed to charge. Like I think they all knew it was kind of a lie, but they played along with it. We played along with it, so it's okay. So I took that in, left it in the office to charge it. Came back, got quite a few things done with them today actually, which was nice. So got one of the trivia games done, so the Minecraft trivia game done. My other group were just sort of making music all day, so they were loving life. They were just sort of putting in piano notes, making a DJ thing, and then they said it looked like a jukebox. So I had the suggestion of, it's a jukebox, why don't you like have the coin that you put in, like the 25 cents or whatever. So they did that, they added that as a feature. Made like the coin disappear when you dragged it into the slot, and then it would like go on to the next page, which was pretty cool. And it was alright overall. And then sort of after that was just sort of like hanging out with the other counsellors and stuff at lunchtime. So we're talking to obviously Heather. This was our last day of lunch monitoring, and someone stole my bloody chair. I was raging. I went in to check the office, because that's where it was yesterday. Gone. Went in to check the other room where I'd found it initially. Gone. So no idea where it is or who's taken it, but I'm very unhappy with that person. And if I find them, I'm going to deal with them. So did that, and just sort of went from there. It was good fun. So I was just sort of talking with Heather at lunch. Then we were talking to Marissa a little bit. She sat with us just while she was doing some stuff. She actually looked really, really awesome too. She had like her hair up, and because it was underwater, or it was under the sea, but it was underwater, she had like a water bottle, and then had her hair like tied up around it so that it would stay up, so she was always underwater, which was quite fun. And then also Christian, like boss Christian this time, was dressed up in like flotation stuff, so he had like a big tube, like armbands and that, but then he had like a hat on with this like little thing sticking up the back of it that was like the letter C, so he was always under the sea. So that was quite fun. Had a good day with that. There was like a couple of really good costumes, but then there was also like there were also like a lot of people who just didn't dress up, which was, it's like, come on guys, like even if you don't put in like a huge effort, like I paid like literally $2 for mine, which you can somewhat see, but like it looks alright. Like I paid $2 for that, and you don't get reimbursed, but like it's $2 at the end of the day. And even though that's basically worth £2 at this point, still, I don't know. People just didn't put in the effort today, and it's kind of sad, because half the fun is like putting in like effort or like coming on with something stupid, and you know, even if it's just like a lifeguard thing or, you know, swim trunks and, you know, a beach ball or something, whereas they all just came in just in, you know, their regular staff shirts, which I don't know, like personally I think it doesn't make it look great whenever like all the parents rolling up and we're like, half of us are like in like t-shirts and shorts and stuff, and the other half of us are in like staff things. You know, it makes some of us look unprofessional while the other ones are there. Whereas if we're all in staff shirts, we're all in polos, or, you know, we're all dressed up looking a bit silly, you know, that's half the point. I don't know, but still. So with my seniors today, it went quite well. I had to do some graphic stuff, so they'd finished off drawing the graphics. Then went to ask Christian about it because, you know, we don't have internet this time, which is, you know, making things so much easier. But at the same time, it means whenever I'm stuck, I can't just Google something, which is basically how I code. You know, like I know enough of it to get by, but like thinking everything off the top of my head, just cannot do. So, you know, looking something up is always pretty handy. So that has been taken away, but then I would gladly give that up just to make sure they aren't on the internet like all day, which is just, it's almost impossible to get them off once they're on. So it's definitely a good thing that they aren't. So that was that. I got them through, got the graphics working, went and asked Christian. He said, okay, I taught a different group earlier, so go ahead and ask them if you can see their, or if you can like get the older campers to come in and like teach your younger campers, because, you know, it can be good fun, because then it teaches, you know, the older campers a bit of responsibility, and then they feel proud because they've taught someone else something, especially like a counsellor. Then like one of my kids looked up at me like, why are you asking a camper, like, you know, you're a counsellor, you should know more than them, kind of thing. And, you know, whenever I was looking at the code, I'm like, oh, I remember how to do this now. But, you know, like the senior guy was on a bit of a roll, and I was like, alright, I don't really want to do that, but he was teaching me more so than he was teaching the other ones, but I kind of got it. But even after like he did it, like I'd forgotten why it wasn't working, and then you got it working eventually, like, and then tried to teach the two kids how that part worked. So then got them going, just like figuring out where to place their things, because it's like a game of Connect 4. So they've got their board drawn out, they have all their pieces drawn out, so it was a case now of what are the coordinates where the pieces now fit in the board. So they seem to be doing okay with that. They were playing, like, because there's the two of them, it didn't really take two to figure that out. So they were like off, like one of them would generally be doing it, because there's like 7 rows, so like one would do one row, the other one would be off like playing a game with some other campers. Then they would swap to the next row, same thing, blah, blah, blah. So that was going quite well. So I think we got through like 4, so we'll finish that off on Monday. That'll be grand. Got mid-sessions done last night with, on Amanda's computer, because it isn't working on mine for some reason. So got them all done, that was grand. Gonna do camper highlights tomorrow night. Just get them out of the way, get it all done on Saturday. You know, because I think they're due like Monday and then Tuesday, so like one group, so like they said juniors, but they kind of like threw in like, yo, like if you do your seniors on Monday, that's fine, if you then do your juniors for Tuesday. So like I have 4 juniors and 2 seniors, so I'm just gonna get all 6 of them out of the way. Saturday means I have Sunday for like Finding Dory, which I'm really looking forward to. More just to sort of see people outside of camp, but yeah, I don't know, it should be good fun. Like the rest of this weekend should be a good laugh. So that's pretty exciting. What else am I up to just now? So came back, was talking to Laura and stuff about, you know, obviously the Brexit thing, which, you know, I'm not pleased about, but it is what it is at this point. You know, democracy is, I mean, it's kind of flawed, but at the same time, you know, whatever. Can't do anything about it. I'm not 16 million people, so oh well. They're also pretty historic, but like, you know, I'll always sort of remember where I'll be, because like, 1, you know, I'm out here doing this, which is pretty cool, and then 2, you know, it's a pretty big thing, so like sort of 30 years from now, whenever this is part of history quizzes because of World War III and why World War III kicked off, I'd be like, yo, you know, I was there, I voted to stay, but there's a guy called what's his face, who I refuse to mention because it's probably bad, but politicians who were just, gosh knows what, who knows. Oh well, life could still be worse. I was way happier on Wednesday when I forgot that this was the day of it. And then, Thursday was just a long day. So today it just felt like I managed to sort of put it out of my mind for most of it, which, is obviously good, because the kids don't deserve me in some foul mood for, any reason. They're paying, or their parents are paying like a lot of money for them to be there. So, my personal feelings on that day should not matter, which I think is a good sort of way to go into it, especially if I ever wanted to be an actual teacher, because that was one of the things I always remember my English teacher saying. We'd all be super tired, we had English first thing in the morning, and then she was always really perky. We're like, yo, how are you doing this? I was like, well, it's my job, that it doesn't really matter how I'm feeling, I just have to be able to be available and be ready to teach you, kind of thing. Which is not a good attitude to have, especially for a teacher. So just there, I was actually wandering that wee park thing that I found yesterday, which is still quite nice. It's just really, really muggy out. So I've been out 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and it's very, very sticky. So that's not a very pleasant feeling. So I'm going to go back now. I don't know, probably just start editing this probably. I think I've gotten everything for today, and then if anything else happens, I will just, put it in for tomorrow. But yeah. Kind of mad though, this thing that's just sort of been there since I was born is now just going to be gone. And I still don't really understand why people want it gone. I know all the reasons that people are throwing out there, but none of them actually seem to make any sense to me, personally. Oh, I don't know. It just sort of doesn't sit well with me that so many people are just sort of acting so selfishly. Oh, we shouldn't be helping these people, we should help these people instead, because these people are so much more important to me. Why can't we just help everyone? All the people who complain when, the budget or whatever increases foreign aid. The only time that gets access is when there's been a hurricane or a tsunami in some third world country and they need help. They're humans just as much as I'm a human, as much as they're a human. They deserve it. So I don't know. Life's just weird. People are just weird. And I think I'm going to try and just stop trying to understand that and just roll with it. So anyway, I will check in again tomorrow and catch you.